Hello out there in YouTube land. Today we're going to be talking about starting your own dealership. I'm going to try to keep it about 20 minutes. I'm a licensed dealer in New Jersey. I started with very little money. I was in the business a long time ago, and basically went on to a career in retail as a sales manager, as a district manager in major chain, and I really just was always drawn to being a car dealer. I don't know why, just a business I was always passionate about. But enough about me. I'd like to explain to everybody how to get started in this business. Um, I'm not going to say the right way, right? I'm not going to say the wrong way. But when you're first starting with little money, it's a gray way, right? Your goal is to do everything perfectly in the right way, but realistically, it's hard to do. Um, I'm not at all suggesting anybody do anything illegal or wrong. Most important to me is, I sleep good at night. I'm real fair with my customers, and we'll get into that. But starting this business from scratch, from nothing, you don't know how to begin. That's what this video is here today. We're going to explain today. I hope it helps. I'm not the best speaker, but I hope I can get my point across. First thing I would suggest when opening up a dealership, okay, is finding a place, right? I suggest they have auto malls, or in New Jersey at least. You may also see advertisements, out-of-state license plate, auction access, dealer plate, and you may see all these things. Few $100 a month, join my dealership, or 1,000 down. Do not do that. Do not. You're better off not doing it than doing it that way. Here's why. One, you could be driving around at a dealership, right, and not knowing if that dealership, what it's involved in, if they pay their insurance, if you're driving around with a dealer plate, not knowing if you're insured. I mean, the business just ain't worth it. That's what I mean by doing things the wrong way. You have an out-of-state dealer's license in the state you're in, and now you're an Idaho dealer, and you're in New Jersey, say, and you're not collecting sales tax. There's no reason to do things like that, to do things the wrong way. I would suggest, we were talking about gray earlier, right? To satisfy the law of New Jersey, certain rules apply. If you grab a book, a handbook that shows you the regulations, or go online, it'll show you the regulations of the office needed, the requirements needed, I should say, to become a licensed New Jersey car dealer, right? So in order to get to that point, you have to find a building or an office or a warehouse that will approve, the township physically got to approve that location for selling used cars, right? The laws are minimal. You only need 2 cars to start, small 100 square foot office, and you can go more into that by looking at the handbook. But moving on from that, let's say you find an auto mall, right? You find them all over. They're about $500, $600, $700 a month. They have all the requirements you need. All you got to do is turn on your telephone and basically have all the requirements you need. To me, that's walking the gray area. You're making the law satisfied, and having everything you need to operate legally. But at the same time, could you make a living selling 2 cars if you only have 2-car spot? No, right? Maybe you could wholesale. Maybe you can get your beak wet, get into business, right? See what it's about, right? And even to do something like that, between insurance, garageman's insurance, liabilities, right? You can get into this whole thing. But again, you can look in the handbook. It's going to cost you at least $20,000 a year. You may say, Bill, you said this is going to be inexpensive. Not going to be too bad, 20 grand. I mean, 20 grand, I don't have a car. 20 grand, I'm just starting out, right? You may say, what costs 20 grand? Well, you got dealer's insurance. If you're lucky, it'll cost you $6 grand a year. If you're lucky. Then you got rent. You got to pay rent. Even if it's a small little office you're never going to use, you still got to pay. Has to be able to be approved by the DMV, right? You got to have the requirements. There's a lot of companies that offer that service in New Jersey, at least. That's how I started. And it was 20 grand a year. That's where I'm getting the number. So you may say, Bill, 20 grand a year, still a lot of money. You know, I want to get out of my job maybe and get into the car business. And, you know, I can't part with $20,000 during a pandemic. I don't blame you, right? So what I suggest you do is you get 5 partners, right? Let me rephrase that. You get 5 partners you trust. The most important thing that I'm going to say today is this. You have to trust your partners. What do we mean by trust them? Well, got to be able to go on a corporation with them. Got to be able to pay taxes with them. The right way I would suggest doing is everybody is on an LLC. LLC is a company. You're creating a company, right? So everybody's in it together. And how you do this is, right, you don't need that $20,000 at once. You take the insurance down payment, the down payment to get you in, and comes out, I'm going to do the math because, again, I did this years ago. It's about $1,500 a person. So 5 people all chip in $1,500. Then you pay a couple of $100 a month, right? And here's the benefit of doing this. Everybody gets a license plate. New Jersey gets 5 license plates, right? So each partner gets a license plate, which can be used for personal use. Check the statutes. Can be used for personal use. Okay, I don't suggest it because you want to keep your dealer plates accident-free, ticket-free. Again, what one person does affects the whole bunch, right? So basically, everyone chips in. Costs you about $200 a month, $1,500 down. Everybody gets auction access. Everybody gets a dealer plate. Everybody registers at the company, registers at the auction. Everybody's in business, right? They say, wow, Bill, that sounds great. So for $4,000 a person a year, we could operate a business. It is great. It's terrific. Great way to get started. It's realistic. It's obtainable. It's achievable, right? It is. But here's the problem, right? You're responsible for what the guy next to you does, right? So you got to have somebody like you really, really trust. 5 people. And each of you guys get an area of responsibility. What's an area of responsibility? Well, there's plenty of them. Believe me, there's plenty. One of them is a treasurer, pays the bills every month, right? Collects the money. Money goes in a bank account with everybody's name on it, right? All 5 people. If you have 5 partners, if you have 4, your payment's going to go up. If you have 3, your payment's going to go up. But you can max out at 5. You max out at 5. And it's important that everyone is on the LLC and everyone is on the dealer's license. That keeps you legal, right? That keeps you legal. So what do you mean by legal? I look at the situation. It's a 2-car lot. It's small office that you're really not staying in. It's a gray. It's a gray area because you're meeting the minimum DMV requirements to get you a dealer's license. It's the minimum, right? So what you do is you got 5 guys now. Everybody's registered at the auction. You got your LLC up, your tax ID. Everybody's on it, right? Everybody gets a K1 at the end of the year. K1 is a partnership, right? In that figure I gave you of $20,000, it even covers the CPA. I mean, it really does cover everything. I did the math, so you don't have to. I did the math. I lived it. So, I would suggest understanding the laws as well. So you do that, again, by going online. You go on DMV's website. You get what's called the statutes, and you study them. And you know the laws, right? So let's just say now you got the license, you're up and running. You're like, Bill, got a couple of grand into this, and, me and my partners are ready to go. What do I do now? What you do now is prepare yourself for a sale. You can do it 2 ways. If you want to keep it cheap, you can get a DMS, right? DMS is a website that holds your cars, which is great. Which is a great thing, especially for partners. If you guys are all working together, you buy a car at the auction, your friend buys a car at the auction, your partners buy a car at the auction, and you go and you put them on the website. right? Now you guys are like kind of sharing the inventory, right? So you got your cost line. This is if you're operating together. If you're operating apart, Cars for Sale is a website company. It's $99 a month, right? They host it, they make it, give you a nice website, and you basically put your cars on there, right? But we can get into that in a later video. Suggest to you where to buy cars and DMSs. I'm going to talk general auctions right now. So you're up and running, you're all set, right? And you want to go buy a car. So you finally buy a car at the auction, right? I suggest watching first. Watch and see how other people are doing this. If you don't know what you're doing at the auction, you can get bidded right up. They're looking at you, asking you a question, you raise your hand, you're obligated to buy that car. You're obligated. If you don't buy the car and say, you know what, I'm going to sneak out of here, I'm going to leave, you're done. That's it. You're going to leave, and you're going to be billed. If nobody covers that bill, you're going to be put on a blacklist and not going to be able to buy at the auction till that's paid, right? So, and even when that's paid, your reputation is going to be tarnished because you're going to be on a cash only, right? The idea here behind this is to build a business, to build a dealership, to build a 200 car lot, to get multiple places, to build your business. That's the goal, right? There's the goal just to, go to the auctions, then shut this video off because this isn't for you. It's not the people I'm trying to address. People I'm trying to address, the people passionate about this, right? And really want to build something great, right? Because that's my intentions, is building my business better than it was the year before. And you should have that same business too. Understanding the business a little bit as well, right? Getting it going and getting started and treating your customers the right way is the most important things. I sell cars under $5,000. And a lot of times I catch a bad car. I go to the auction the day before, I scan the car with an car scanner, like most dealers do. Say, okay, not so bad. Maybe there's a couple codes I could deal with, or the customer could deal with, right? Because I sell everything basically as is the way it is. So that doesn't mean I'm going to buy a car with a transmission code and give that to a customer. Why would I do that, right? So I get a car with an evap leak. I'm going to sell it and tell the customer the light's on. I'm going to grab the scanner in front of the customer. I'm going to scan it, say this is PO446. We're going to Google it. I'm going to say it has an evap leak, right? Most likely it costs you a couple $100 to fix it. Maybe you're mechanically inclined. Tell you what, though, I'm going to give you a great deal on the car. Most of the cars I buy already have a New Jersey inspection on it, so I basically sell it that way, right? So my goal is to make $1,000 to $2,000 a car. I'm really good at buying, and in my opinion, you make your money when you buy the car, not when you sell the car. When you buy the car, you got to buy the car the right way. What does that mean? You're going to get all great cars? Nope. They're in the auction for a reason. Believe me, especially now with COVID, nobody's giving good cars. And the cars are all top dollar, which if you're in the business, you already know, right? So that does it. You're going to get a little bit more for the cost too. So you're going to pay a little bit more, you're going to get a little bit more. But your goal should be to make $1,000 a car. Starting out, $1,000 a car, right? It's an achievable goal if you buy right. I don't think anybody would disagree with that, right? So does that mean you're going to make $600 a car sometimes? Maybe, if the car's no good. Does that mean you're going to make $1,600 a car? If the car's good, you can make that easily, right? But you should average $1,000 a car, right? Also, especially if you're operating out of, an NJ Dam or one of these dealer spots that have those legal requirements we were talking about earlier, right? You should do your paperwork correctly, right? You should do your paperwork correctly. What do I mean by that? Every car I buy has a jacket that looks like this. It's called the deal jacket, right? No big deal. The way I do it, I put the tax, so when I'm end of the quarter, I can go through it. I put the day it was sold. This one was sold today. And this deal jacket, people say, you even bother showing that. Well, here's why. You catch an audit, okay? This is what they're coming in to say. They're going to give you no notice to get it together. Just think, they're going to walk in, or come to you, or any way they come to you, and they're going to say, give me your last 10 deals. Or, that customer, Mr. Johnson, let me see their insurance card. Gave them a temp, we need their insurance. Let me see the license. Let me see the bill of sale. Let me see the as is. Or maybe the customer complained. We don't got a crystal ball here, right? I sell you a car and I tell you as is, as is, as is, as is, right? That's not good enough in this business. What basically you have to do is you got to get it in writing, right? So I tell you it's as is, and I make you sign a document saying that you know it's as is, right? This is what I do with every single customer. I will not sell the car without an as is, because I don't want issues or problems. I can sell the car again. Again, you make your money when you buy the car. Not when you sell it, when you buy it. You buy it right, you know you made money, right? So it's very important to be compliant. What do I mean? We're walking that gray line still, right? So you want to make the best situation. Already, you get audited and you're in a dealership where you're just covering the minimum requirements, right? Now, I believe, my opinion, inspectors look at you a certain way, saying, you know what, this guy shouldn't be in business. He's working out of this little 100-square-foot room, and he shouldn't be in business. I tend to disagree. I started in that little room. So there are people who do it the right way, and there are people who do it the wrong way. There's people in this business who are terrible. They're vultures. They're looking to do the wrong thing, right? Again, we're looking to build a business. We're looking to 2 years, a year, be out of that place and have a small 20-car lot, and then from a 20-car lot to a 50-car lot, right? And we're looking to build this business and make a name for ourselves. That begins when you start. That reputation at the auction stays with you, whether you've got 1,000 cars or 1 car, right? You got to be aware of your reputation, and also be aware of people you're dealing with. You might have some tempting situations. A guy may come in, I want to buy that car. You say, okay, I'll give you a temporary. You have insurance? No, man, I don't got insurance. Got a license? No, I don't have a license. Well, guess what? I'm not selling you a car. I'll sell it to the next guy. I make the money when I buy the car, right? As tempting as it is at a slow time. Slow January, COVID, right? You want to be compliant and do business the right way. And you want to be partners with people who do business the right way, which is the most important thing. I can't stress it enough, right? So, each person, once you find a place, and they are out there, add it up, get your quotes on insurance, your quotes on the rent, quotes on the insurance, the garageman's insurance, the bond, all these things. You get the quotes on, and you get an amount, just like any other business. It's going to cost me $22,000 to run, and you take that, and you have 5 people who are as passionate as you, right? It will cost you $1,500 down a person and $200 a month. Each of you will have a plate. Each of you will have auction access. Each of you will be responsible. Okay, that's my suggestion to you. There's so much more to it. Corp codes, once you get the license and knowing how to do the DMV paperwork. I'm going to have a whole video on that. Probably be next. This is my first video. Again, I'm just hoping to help people get started. It's a pretty slow time, and talking about it keeps me grounded as well. I'm going to try to make these videos about 20 minutes apiece, and I certainly hope this helps a little bit. Have a great New Year.